Welcome to Gamers Guild. My name is Mike, and I'll be your host.
Today's topic is how to map a landmass. Now, a landmass can be as small as an island in the middle of the ocean, or as large as a continent. Let's start with an outline. We're going to start. Choose any square within your graph paper. Graph paper is best, and it's also best to use a pencil in case you mess up and you want to erase, or just adjust your drawing with erasing. So we're going to start, and as we're drawing, we want to create different bumps and angles, little crags, little cliff areas, and maybe even double back a bit to give it a harbor. Harbors can be very important when designing a country, as they are great areas to which you can receive shipments and have cities at. Your landmass doesn't have to look like mine, obviously. There are numerous shapes and sizes to landmasses. Say, for example, you want to change something. It's as easy as erasing. And come back in. Maybe you want to tuck in a little bit there. And come back out like so. You could even think of names that you might give points on your landmass, like Eagle's Head or Phoenix Head, for something about this shape. And come back out, come back in, and go a little bit out like so. Kind of almost organic. Let it kind of come to you as you're drawing. This one almost looks like it has a little inspiration from Australia, maybe. Either that or a weird-shaped butterfly. All right, so now you have your basic outline of your landmass. Let's take this as an island example. Next thing you may want to think about is how did your island get there? Maybe it's a volcanic island. Okay, so it's a volcanic island. Why don't we put a volcano in there? So we start with a mountain. To draw my mountains, I generally start with a small triangle. We're going to center this one as it's a volcanic island. We figure that a centrally located volcano would seem appropriate. And then I curve underneath. Adjust the paper a bit. And curve underneath. And then we kind of give it a little snowy little swoosh on top to indicate that the peak has maybe some snow on it. Alright, so center of your island, you've got a mountain. Maybe put a few other mountains in there. These ones not quite so big. Like so. And in case one of the mountains ends up overlapping another mountain, you can erase the base of that mountain. And then put in that base back without blocking out the tip of your other one. Gives you an idea of what mountains are behind which other mountains. And let's see, why don't we take that out? Put in a mountain right in there. So now we have a few little seamounts that bring out lava, expand the island, and have an island. You're also going to think about maybe forests or rivers, lakes, streams, anything that is not people-made, but would affect how the landmass operates or how the landmass looks. Well, we can put in a little lake up here. Let's do that. How about down here? Start in with a little lake. Kind of a small, almost pond-looking thing. Give it some rough edges and some bumps. So we have a little lake there. Maybe do stream coming out of the mountains. We can represent that with a line. And rivers flow from uphill to downhill out into the ocean. So you obviously want it to terminate in the water. And you can erase that bit. Give it kind of a funnel shape. so. And keep narrowing until you get into the stream. And so now you have a river that goes there. Perhaps you'll do another one coming out from back in here. This one come down here and go out to here. So do another funnel and another narrowing. We just get into the stream. As this is a small landmass, you don't have to do a whole lot of waves or curves in your rivers. So now we have a lake or a pond, a few mountains, some streams, and there's your basic landmass. Let's see, the next thing we want to talk about is where we want to place cities. Now I mentioned harbors before, and harbors are an excellent place to put cities. The key elements to a harbor is it needs to be a safe place for ships to dock. So imagine if all you have is a cliff face, say like this cliff face right here, and the river, or the ocean rather, is crashing against that cliff, just kind of pounding this direction. We'll erase that in a minute, and it just keeps pounding across that cliff area. Well, if you put your boats out there, it's going to smash your boats into that cliff area, and that's not going to be good for boats. So you need a calm area. And this landmass, this portion of this landmass here, as the waves come in to crash, break up the waves. And in here, the water is calmer. So this becomes a safe harbor, which makes it an excellent place for a port city. So let's put a port city in there. Do a little port city like so. When I draw a port city, part of it I want to be out into the ocean to signify that it's, part of the city is, part of the elements of the sea are tied to the outer edge of the ocean. Whether it's docks, levees, and dikes and stuff like that. Everything that comes in through the port city, so it's important to designate that the ocean is key to the city's survival. Alright, so we have a port city here, and let's do another city. Let's do a city that's going to be a mining town. Well, obviously, if you've got a mountain, like a volcanic area, a lot of your rocks might come from that area. Let's do a mining town right at the base of these mountains. We can kind of designate that with a small circle. As it's a town and not a city, we'll use a different shape. So now we have a little mining town just off the edge of these mountains, at the base of these mountains, where there might be some hills, some foothills for the mountains. And let's put a little forest area out here. Let's do that right about here. What I do with forests is I'm going to use open circles, and the closer I pack the circles, the denser the forest is. So I'm going to make this area a really dense forest. I'm going to use small circles, I'm going to pack them tight, and it's going to designate that this is a dense forest. Probably not too many trails, might even be more of a hedge area. And then, once we get this area really thick, then we can start spacing the circles out, making it more of a lighter forest. More open areas in it, maybe some meadows. And, you don't want your landmass shapes to have a square feel or a perfectly circle field, so you want to kind of give them more of a, some more blemishes or organic shaping. Alright, so this one's kind of starting to look a little bit like a teardrop almost, if you look at it upside down, I suppose. And we have kind of like a little area of a forest. We might even bring this out further out here. And come down here. And let's pack a little bit more tight trees right in there. Okay, so they've got a place to cut some lumber. They got a little mining village. They've got a lake or a pond off to the side. And we've got a port city. I think that's pretty good for a fledgling island in the middle of the ocean. Something that's just getting settled.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe and feel free to comment. If you want to watch my next video, click on my books if you're a PC user, or you'll find a link in my description if you're a tablet user. Thanks again, and until next time, good luck and good gaming.